Thank you, Madam Chair. And Mr. Green, I'd like to go back to the $250 million, the federal investment. TELUS received some $90 million. So the remaining $160 million, did you say in a previous response that that went to other EMR providers? Where did that remaining funding, where did it end up?
Well, thank you for the question. With the program, there were multiple steps that had to be taken to implement the prescribing service. The design of the service itself, the operation, and then also integration with provincial assets, integration with health IT systems that are used across the country, also connectivity with pharmacies. So it's a very complex process. We also had to ensure that the system is very secure, that it meets very stringent privacy and security standards, that it's up and available. So in answer to your question, there are multiple sources of where the funding was utilized, including the annual operation of the system as well. Again, it's possible to provide some of the information. It's not an easy answer to this question. I think and I would also like to say that at every step, we had a regular review of our expenditures and the progress of the system by the board of directors and reported through that mechanism as well, at least on a quarterly basis.
Thank you for that. I must say that on the face of it, to replace a fax system with a digital system, it seems like an incredibly expensive proposition, which, to be honest, puzzles me. But perhaps you could give us, from an on-the-ground perspective, what was the actual experience of implementation and uptake amongst providers that you heard, and what do you see as the main reasons the program ultimately came to an end? We did hear about some 57 change orders. Could you maybe describe some of the more important of the changes that were required? And was it because there were so many changes required that the Board of Canada Infoway terminated TELUS's involvement?
Thank you again for the question. As I mentioned in my opening statement, the system provided a technical foundation for e-prescribing, and through time, we really looked at how the program was progressing. As I mentioned, we had 95% uptake by pharmacies and technology vendors. And on review, the system's future has a brighter path as an open standard. As you are aware, Canada has a diverse health system. Different provinces and territories have different priorities. And so the new approach, which is a transition, not a curtailment of the system, I think we have built some very good assets for the country that are going to be utilized in the open standards approach going forward, which we believe will attract a higher level of adoption.
Why did physicians not adopt? You've talked about the pharmacies at 95%. Were you actively promoting PrescribeIT to physicians across the country? How did that work? Or didn't
the way that Canada Health Infoway works in collaboration with our partners, in principally the provinces, the territories who operate the health systems, and also the federal government. We work with the technology providers, we work with the pharmacies, and we worked with clinicians, not at the individual clinician office level, but we would have meetings with society groups and associations to ensure that the clinical side of the program was addressed.
How much time do I have?
You have 1 minute and 3 seconds.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Green. You did talk about moving towards standard setting rather than reliance on a single delivery model as a more effective way to encourage more vendors to enter the space and better meet the needs of providers and patients. Could you sort of elaborate a little bit on what is meant by standard setting?
Yes. What we mean by that is that rather than having a single system operating, which has to be adopted, we can actually come up with standards, which is a very common practice with other health solutions these days, where systems have the ability to connect to a variety of different IT systems within the health structure without having the need to do a lot of reprogramming. So it's a more kind of simple approach going forward, which has developed over the last few years. When PrescribeIT was initiated 10 years ago, the kind of technical excellence was that we'd seen was a kind of national single type of approach. Now it's a more flexible standards related approach going forward.